Hi guys, I hope your week is off to a great start. I last week got to enjoy a wonderful conference with some of our team members, and I just wanted to kind of fill you guys in a little bit on what we learned and discovered, what God put on my heart. And share that with you in a hopes that you might be encouraged, that everything you do helps to connect God's love to individuals in a way that makes it personal for them. So the theme of the conference we were at is It's Personal. And I just want to quickly share a few of the key phrases or points that stuck out to me and touched my heart and reminded me of how amazing what you guys do is. And then kind of share a story that was shared. It's personal to people when we know someone, when we know their name. Everything changes when you know them and know their name. When you ask somebody what they need, they become visible and valuable to you, and they see that they're visible and valuable to Jesus. The church, as we all know, should be the first place a kid or a parent can find hope. We can make it personal by respecting people's voices, showing them value, and speaking out the potential that we see in kids and parents. We know it's true that nobody needs to be seen by everybody, but everybody needs to be seen by somebody, and we can be that somebody. Everybody needs somebody to champion them and encourage them. And we know that something remarkable can happen when you start seeing people the way Jesus saw them. And we don't want to get too busy trying to save everyone that we can't help anyone. And there are people around us, whether we know it or not, that are hoping that they're worth us seeing and they're worth us stepping into and helping. And we don't want to miss them. We don't want to not know their name. And so we want to help parents and kids both feel like they measure up, because they do. They were created in God's image. And knowing parents and knowing kids not only means knowing their name, but knowing their context. So I want to challenge you guys at pickup and at drop-off to take moments and be strategic, to get to know parents and kids' names, to ask simple questions that help you get to know what's going on in their world. And over time, that will set the foundation where they know that this church is a welcoming, loving place where they can find hope and encouragement and connections. And so thank you guys for doing that. Take a little time each week just to get to know 1 to 2 people's names that you don't know, whether it's a kid or a parent, and asking a few key questions. One story was shared that really, really touched my heart, and I want to throw it out to help kind of set the tone for what you could be doing when you start to get to know people's names and story. So there was a church where this mom came fairly infrequently, more than Christmas and Easter, but not very much. And she had 4 kids under 6, and she one day entered the building and she was running late, and because she doesn't come very often, she didn't know the new check-in system and didn't know where things were located because her kids had changed class, and it was a disaster. And so she was a little bit needing help. She was distracted. She was interrupting classes. Her kids were a little hesitant to go in. She wasn't sure what the procedures were. And so it kind of set it up on a bad tone. But this church was able to just welcome her, just greet her, just help her get settled as quickly and calmly as possible, take her kids into the rooms and help them feel comfortable, let her know that they would get her if they need her, and help her to get into service. Well, it turns out this mom that week had found out her husband was having an affair and had moved out of the house, and she came that day not knowing what was going on in her family, not feeling sure about anything, but was hoping that she could find some comfort and some peace and some assurance in that church. And because even though she was disheveled and distracted, that church welcomed her lovingly and calmly and graciously. She was able to step into God's presence and to worship and to hear a word from Him that spoke to her soul and encouraged her that her and her kids were loved and valuable and gonna be okay. And so my light bulb that I wanted to share with you about that story is, even if we kind of know somebody, we don't know what their week entailed. We don't know what's going on in their situations. So the more we can get to know people's names, ask questions to get to know their context, and make sure that our response is loving and gracious and open and kind, we set it up to where families, no matter what they're going through, can feel love and grace and truth in our building, and we can be a welcoming, safe place where kids and parents can find hope. And so I just encourage you to continue to try to get to do that with people, and thank you for doing it. Thank you for doing it consistently, and thank you for being that bridge between us and families in this community. And I just really appreciate each of you. Thanks so much.